want anybody to see me being a drug addict. Hold on.
No, okay. I'll cut that out. I'll cut the beginning out. Okay,
Ah,
recording in progress.
okay, let's go.
Yeah, how your day going?
My day is
Wait,
going.
okay, wait. You gotta introduce yourself. Because maybe these motherfuckers don't know who you are.
A lot of people don't. Yeah. So this is Hieroglyphic Being, aka the Sun God, aka I am that I am, aka IBM, aka Africa's the mainframes with my cousin Noli, aka Jamal M, aka the ensemble, orchestra, you know what I'm saying, aka whatever. I'm out.
Yeah,
Oh, members only. Yeah, yeah. Jamal R.
members only. Yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
man of a
Hieroglyphic
million
Being.
names. Yeah,
Yeah,
but wait, that's not who you are. That's just your name.
yeah. But hieroglyphic being is the main
Yep.
focus. My Christian government name is Jamal R. Moss, and I'm not
R.
saying what the R is because nobody needs to know. Yeah.
Is it Rick?
I mean, I could say Romulus. Would that work?
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but what do you do?
Like, what you mean? What I do?
You
I mean,
make music?
what I do, or what do I do?
What do you do?
Well, it depends. I'm a multifaceted motherfucker. I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm a
Yeah, you do
psychopath talking, huh? What?
film festivals. You do film festivals. You watch a lot of film. You also make music. You DJ. You
I
eat
mean, what's the
cupcakes.
word for it? It's not lesbian, it's thespian. Yeah, I'm a thespian. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's yeah. I'm a lesbian too at by heart, but yeah, but a thespian. So yeah, yeah, films, sound scores, film
Okay.
track scores.
So when did you
Oh,
start making music?
1989 unofficially.
So you were 19 at the time.
Yeah, roughly around that
Or no,
time. Yeah.
18. Yeah.
No, no,
17?
1989. Yeah, I was 18. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So technically speaking, it would be 17 before I turned 18. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
How'd you get started? What'd you do?
Cause somebody had a drum machine in somebody's basement or somebody's house or where they lived at, and people just go and jam out. That's it. You just go and
Mm-hmm.
kick it,
Hell yeah.
drink some Big Bear, eat some White Castle, be up late night and just jamming out. But and it
Mm-hmm.
happens, and then you walk away because you're thinking it's camaraderie, it's community, it's family, it's the
Mm-hmm.
homies. And then
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, them tracks you made in somebody's house then come out on vinyl and they got their name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I ain't gonna put nobody on blast. I'm in a better place now. I've healed. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
petty bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll forgive, but I don't motherfucking forget. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
and then
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I ventured off into other things for a bit. And then when I was going through a certain life happenstance, I got back into it by proxy because I used to sleep inside this abandoned building when I was homeless, and it was next to
Mm-hmm.
a theater place, and it was called the Edge of the Looking Glass. So they used to
Okay.
throw parties in there, and they did like a lot of performance art stuff, like with modern dance, they would call.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they would have like these very avant-garde dance troops. And then I remember I used to hear this noise and I got curious. And me and my friend, we basically were squatting in this place and we would like walk outside and come around the corner and realize it was this whole theater place.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to the guy, he let us in. And then he was just like, yeah, we see you go in that building. You nobody lives there, right? I said, well, we do for now. And he was just like, I'll hook you up. You come clean up. We'll pay you some,
Mm-hmm.
look out for you. So I used to do
Mm-hmm.
like a janitorial stuff, help them out. And
That's
I could see
nice.
free shows. And
Mm-hmm.
then one of the guys gave me some of his equipment because he see how curious I was,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave me a Emu drumulator and a, Orbitron effects model. Yeah, you might have to Google that later. All a gear
Yeah.
here is gonna be like, what is that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he gave me SP 1200, which I should have kept today because it's worth thousands and thousands of dollars, but I didn't know. I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So, and I just started experimenting after I would do janitorial work or whatever, and I just started doing, I would say, improvised sound. I wasn't trying to do techno or house. I was inspired by seeing all the avant-garde stuff they would do for like the movement improvisers.
Mm.
So they would do like really weird soundscapes to their movements. It was like I would say that
Oh yeah.
time it was considered world music.
Uh-huh.
They incorporate North African or East African or Middle Eastern or Asian influences or Celtic or stuff like that in
Mm-hmm.
the music, but it was electronic based or whatever, depending on the mood or whatever the sequences they were doing. And
Mm.
from there, I hooked up with someone else who I met on the street, and he was doing parties, and we would do Sunday nights, and it was called Liquid Love, and we would do
Mm-hmm.
experimental stuff on a Sunday, and then it just started picking up, and then I would go to people's studios, but this time I would kind of just sit back and watch everybody else do everything, and I wouldn't do nothing. They would get me touch a drum machine, a keyboard, talk on a mic, or anything because I learned from my
Mm-hmm.
past experiences. And no, unless somebody's gonna pay me or it's official collaboration, because I don't need to get got again. So
Totally.
after that, I was going through my life happenstance of being homeless and going through some trials and tribulations. And then when I got somewhat settled, there was a guy who started a group called Galaxy together. His name is Lee Adruzo.
Mm-hmm.
He had gear, and we would like work on stuff together. But then, my life, his life, some stuff happened, and we parted ways. Not on a bad term, just stuff happens, and we never really came to full completion.
Mm-hmm.
The music we had some really nice stuff, but I was the type of person he would like, oh, I gotta go handle something. And then he'd be like, do not, whatever you do, don't press this button on the keyboard. So like you have all the patches and the sounds, everything set up. And of course, me with my hive mind, I was like, I want to press that button. And
Yeah, 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 yeah. Tell
I
me not to
pressed
do
it.
it and I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
pressed it and erased like 3 hours of recordings.
Were
So
they mad at you?
maybe that's why we're not really working together no more. Because I would just Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, we can just make it again. It's like no big
Yeah.
deal,
No big
But
deal.
and
Yeah.
I guess from him, because he knew his equipment better and the time we spent into it, and he's a busy person, I guess he felt like I was being an ass or like, what's wrong with him? And I'm like, yeah, there's something wrong with me, but it's not a bad thing. It's just you said don't press the button. I'm gonna press the button. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
would have said press these buttons, I wouldn't press them. That's just how my brain works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me too.
yeah,
Okay, but wait, okay, so I wanted to ask you like throughout your whole like decades long discography, like time-wise, like if you had to split it into like different eras or sounds, like how has it evolved like since you were like 18 up to
that's
like today?
that's the problem. It hasn't evolved. I mean, I guess in a sense, only way I would say it evolved is that time has caused what I do to evolve because of technology. But it's the same stuff I do, but it just got new gear, new sounds, new
Yeah.
ways to like manipulate and do things. So I still do what I do because at the end of the day, I'm a caveman when it comes to equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It gotta be real simple in front of
No
me.
Ableton. Boo Ableton.
I know I'm not gonna diss no possible future sponsorships. I'm just saying I like the most simple, easy approach. That way I
Hmm.
can make more complicated, intricate stuff. The more
Yeah.
complicated,
Hmm.
intricate it is, if I engage with it, I just shut down because in my mind, I'm like, this is not necessary.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
constraints like help with creativity because you're like, fuck, I can only work with this. I better get creative with it.
exactly. Because you got people now, and yeah, I'm talking big shit. You got people now like, oh, I got this gear and I got that gear and I got a wall of this and I got the latest this, that, and that. But you ain't making no hits.
Hmm.
You like, what are you exactly
Yeah.
doing? You'll buy like forty
Lost in the
thousand dollars.
sauce.
Yeah, yeah, you buy forty
Yeah.
thousand dollars worth of gear, and then when you finally get a record ready to go, you ain't got no money to press a record.
Hmm.
Make that make sense? Why would you
Yeah.
spend $4,000 on a unit when it can cost you 2,500 to make 900 records? Sell the records, then you can go buy the
Okay.
unit, and you have your music out.
Okay, so what's the $2,500 starter pack?
Huh? Are we asking for the people, or are we asking for you?
Both me. I
Both?
don't
All
know.
right, okay. I mean, it just depends. I mean, you can go ahead and do it the old school way and not have any artwork, just white label, and you can stamp it yourself, one sided. That'll save you a
Hmm.
couple $100.
Yep.
You could go ahead and just do a one-sided 12-inch and fit 3 tracks on it instead of doing both sides.
Both sides.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. You can save you a couple $100. So it just
Mm-hmm.
depends how you want to approach it. So
How much would one side run you?
it's been a while, but it varies because of plating and mastering, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But put it this way, it'll be half of what it costs you to do both sides.
Yeah, for
Let's just
sure.
look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more you try to do with a record, the more everybody else makes and the less you make.
Yep, for
So the
sure.
minimal you do,
'Cause
the more comes back to you.
yeah, like I know so many like talented producers who have so much stuff released digitally, and I'm like, I want this on vinyl, but it is such a barrier to entry, like the startup cost of like pressing records.
I mean, you have options. Sometimes maybe maybe motherfuckers are size queens. They need those 12 inches. Sometimes a 7 inches is okay. You know,
Yeah.
you could do a 7 inch record, much cheaper. And a seven
Mm-hmm.
inch record, if it's a banger on both sides, it's cost effective on your end, and it's cost effective for people who can't afford a 12 inch because a 12 inch these days be running $30 for 3 tracks. You could do a
Mm-hmm.
sound, you can do a 7 inch and fit 2 tracks on it, 5 minutes, each side, and
Mm-hmm.
charge $10, and everybody's happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's better to make bangers than hangers.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
like one thing I really appreciate about you is like you're really open and you call people out on their shit and you call the industry out on its shit. And yeah, it's cool that you're like naming numbers.
well, I'm the type of person I came from. I'm cut from. Well, where I come from is called being cut from a different loincloth.
Mm-hmm.
I like unless you're actually God, fuck you. I ain't got no fear. I was like, just how I look at it. You didn't make this planet. I don't care who you are. Just because you got a little leverage don't mean you control or dominate me. Because I'm like, in my mind, it's like, how long will you actually last with this behavior? With this,
Mm-hmm.
like this being this having this power dynamic, like you feel like you control or can run everybody. It doesn't last long. I've been around long enough to see people who are total assholes or users or abusers who con
Mm-hmm.
artists and run labels to the ground. They're not around no more.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let people know if you feel like there's a brick wall, time is on your side. You just wait the motherfuckers out.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel. Like I'm like, cause like there's all these like trends and shit, and it doesn't fucking matter because you just gotta like make the shit that your soul needs to express, and you just keep doing that long enough, someone's gonna be like, oh, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I answered that question. Are we still dwelling within that dynamic?
Wait, but okay, wait. What were all the eras of gear? If there are no eras of sound, what are the eras of gear?
Areas or era.
Era.
EA, like
Like Taylor
ERA.
Swift. Like Taylor Swift.
Oh shit.
ERA. ERA. The Eras
I
Tour.
mean, technically speaking, there are no eras of gear because everybody's trying to be revisionist.
No, but I mean for you.
Oh, I really don't have an era because I've been using some components for the last 12 years. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a loyal bitch. Whatever I like,
To
I
what?
stick to, and I will work it into the ground until it's dead.
Who are you loyal to? iPad?
I'm loyal to whatever that's mutually beneficial to the success of and betterment of happiness. That
Mm-hmm.
could be sound, food, visual, art, people.
Yeah. Well, what's your setup now?
Well, right now, I mean, the iPads I use basically Sonic sketchbooks, and then I will get like stuff etched into that. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
want to go ahead and take it to the next level, I'll go into a recording studio and then lay stuff into a professional system like Pro Tools. If I'm doing it for quote unquote established outlets like Soul Jazz or whatever, or like
Mm-hmm.
Warp or like Ninja Tune,
Mm-hmm.
other places like that. And then I have access. Well, I haven't talked to them in a while. I have access to a studio by me. If they're not booked up, I can get it the place late at night for like little or nothing, and
Mm-hmm.
just doodle around. And I can just put the pieces together like a puzzle because all I got is patches, and like save stems or MIDI files, and I'll just dump everything in, and I'll just see what works with what, and then I'll flesh
Mm-hmm.
it out, and then finish. as the kitschy term, the sonic painting, complete the palette,
Hmm.
and then from there I'll like put it back into my iPads. I drop them back into my iPads, and then I'll go on the road if I'm working, and I'll play the stuff out, and I'll see how the crowd reacts. I could be like, yeah, this synth gets on somebody's nerve. This hi hat is way too whatever. So it's like a lot of
Do you
times.
trust the crowd? Do you trust the crowd? Depends who it
I mean,
is.
it's not the fact. It's not about trusting the crowd. It's about trusting the energy that's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Because a certain way you can perform is not focused on one individual or the many. It's just the energy in the room. So depending on the energy of the room and whatever I play out live, it's the interaction with that energy. So I can be like, yeah, the energy is not filling this piece. Then I can put
Mm-hmm.
a next piece on, and the room will erupt for the
Mm-hmm.
next 10 minutes off that one piece. I can
I
go
mean,
into the
yeah,
next.
also like the delta is bigger if it's like not a hit and then it goes to a hit, like it's like burnt, burnt.
Yeah, yeah. But then I
Mm-hmm.
learned the ones that people ain't feeling, I can go back and modify and
Yeah.
layer and add stuff too. The only
Mm-hmm.
Achilles heels with that, because I had people tell me, it's like, dude, you got too much going on these tracks. You got like 5 tracks in one track. They be like, you got like 10 acid bass lines, 10 synths, 20 drums. And I'm like, that's what I do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you just gotta keep plugging away. And then
yeah,
the
yeah.
people will see at some point.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say too, if people really want to put out music too, it ain't always about vinyl. It's just like there's other formats you can do to get your music across.
I
I
really
mean,
love tape.
I've been doing cassette tapes forever. I never
Yeah,
stopped doing it. That's been my hustle since
I
'96.
love tapes. You can hand them out. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to stand in front of record shops back in the '90s and sell tapes, and they hated that. They was like, "You need to come in the store and put the tapes in the store, but you can't stand out front and sell them." And then it's like, and then we'll put them on consignment and we'll pay you in 30 days. I said, "Why would I want to do that?" I was like, "I could sell them
Mm-hmm.
right now out on the street in front of your shop and get my money." Like
Mm-hmm.
that's how my brain worked. And they're like, "We can't stand in front of our shop." I said, "It ain't like I stop people from going in to buy anything. They go in first, they buy whatever they buy, and then when they come
Mm-hmm.
out, I'll be like, 'Do you want this?'" So I
Mm-hmm.
got kicked out in front of record shops in front of Chicago. I ain't gonna name no names. I got love for you. You made me tougher. You know what I'm saying? All that tough love just made me tougher.
Where
That's
was what's the name of the vintage vinyl? Is that right? The spot you went last night?
yesterday. It's in Evanston.
Uh-huh.
Are you gonna try to put my secret weapon on blast? Well,
Okay. It's a secret. Forget that.
no, it's all good. That's the homie. I look out for him. You know what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, that's where you go if you want like some hard to find rare gems. You can go
Mm-hmm.
digging in there. Yeah,
Yeah. Where
yeah.
do they source from?
What you mean?
Where do they get their records from?
The dude's been around since like '76, so he's
Oh,
piped
he's just
in.
been, yeah. Okay.
He's just been piped in, and plus he has connections, and he's been around for a
Mm-hmm.
while. Because the thing is, he's a shop that's just not electronic music. He does all types of music. So when you open your doors up to different avenues, you
Yep.
can come across more eclectic stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because in this era we're in, the era we're in now, when people think of electronic music, they're thinking like, oh, this is this era. But no, electronic music's been around for a while. There's artists
Mm-hmm.
from the '50s that would have organic sounds and would have an organ or a keyboard, which is electronic. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Inside their music. In
Mm-hmm.
the '70s, in the funk era, it'll be all live musician, and you have Bernie Worrell with a mood, and you can hear that signature one electronic sound. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
always been around. And it's like with that shop, he would have rock with some electronic stuff in it. Not a lot, just minimal.
Mm-hmm.
He would have like, pop that would have some electronic stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
He would have some very um, rhythmic abstract music that you would consider to be what's the word for genius today, but it was cats that was doing it in the '60s and '70s. So his
Mm-hmm.
type of shop, you could go there and find these really rare gems. Like he hooked up my homie yesterday with a record of a French band, which I'm not gonna say, but it was a French band that came out in the '70s that sounds just like Suicide, but it's mixed with
Mm-hmm.
like um the Stooges. It's
Mm-hmm.
weird, like, but it's dope.
Yeah.
So like you can hear in the background, they're rocking that CR 78 like drum machine, like the box one that stands up or whatever. And you hear it all in the background, and you hear all the rhythms just on the run, but they got all this other rock stuff, and then the vocals all kind of like suicide sounding on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of dope. So
Yeah, like speaking, you mentioned the word minimal. Speaking of minimal, like people are saying like minimal is making a resurgence, like minimal techno and house. Uh,
um
yeah.
it never stopped. If you hear most of the music, yeah, I'm talking shit. I ain't perfect, but most of the music you've been hearing, remember I said when cats tell me I got too many sounds, it's like 5 tracks in one track.
Mm-hmm.
Even the basic house stuff you hear now has been minimal. Even the techno stuff has been minimal. It's never been like engorged with like a lot of like heavy sounds in the past decade. They only
Mm-hmm.
try to bring minimal back because that's what they're trying to do to keep their aspect of culture alive. It's a cultural war when it comes to genres of electronic music. Drum and bass is trying to fight. Dubstep is trying to get their presence. Acid house is trying to get their whatever. Detroit techno, Berlin techno, UK funky. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
trying to get theirs on top. And right now,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's pissed off that Detroit techno and Chicago house is running the globe. So now there's
Uh-huh.
a war. That's right. There's a war going on where cats are envious. The ego is trying to push their perception of what they think is dope. And I ain't gonna say they belittling everybody else, but their egos don't allow somebody else to breathe and shine for a bit. I've been
Mm-hmm.
around long enough to watch 3 iterations where House and Detroit, Chicago House, Detroit Techno start to blow up.
Yep.
Everybody got in their fields. Then how they say, they infiltrated, perpetrated, and then captivated, and then suppressed the people who kept it going and took it for themselves and bastardized it and then marketed it, milked it for 3 or 4 years and took what they could out of it. And then they moved on to the next. They cannibalized it
Mm-hmm.
and then left the people who kept it alive before it became famous again. Then they left them with the crumbs to rebuild again. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
vicious cycle. So
How
like,
often does the cycle happen?
huh?
How often does the cycle happen?
Every 10 years. I can
Mm-hmm.
honestly say since the inception for Detroit and Chicago, it's been happening since 1980s, every 10 years. So if you like 1980 to 1990. So after 1990, everybody got sick of Detroit and Chicago. So UK and everybody
Yep.
else around the world was running around doing their
Mm-hmm.
thing. And then 2000 came about,
Mm-hmm.
same thing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
2010,
Yep.
2020. You see, realize 2020, that's when Detroit Techno, Chicago House started to get this rise up. Now it's 2025. And if you see something now, you have people doing interviews and they talk about Detroit Techno, Chicago House. They don't even talk about those artists. They try to push and market to other people, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
It's an ebb and flow. All I'm saying is time is on your side. If you're true and genuine about what you do, it don't matter.
Yep.
You could be 90 years old and still beating the box.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably really good at it too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, you got Marshall Allen, 101 years old, still doing what he do.
At least in 101.
Yeah, he's 101 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, and we're all his haters in the grave. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So over time, all flowers must fade. It's all bullshit. Just do you.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's been like the through line of all these interviews is everyone's just like, yeah, fuck everyone else. Like, just do you. And
No, it's
then,
not. It's not. It's not fuck everyone else. It's fuck the culture vultures who are not
mm-hmm.
about the arts, but only about the ego, the
And the money.
finances, yeah, and the
Yeah.
money, the fame, the coke, the booty, whatever it may be, the in for it for. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, take a deep breath. Mm-hmm.
how do
What?
we
What?
like how do we make it better today? What do we got to do? What does the government have to do?
Better in what way?
How do we like scare off the culture vultures?
You can't. If there's always money involved and you can play and you can be and God is the DJ, they're gonna always be around. It
Mm-hmm.
just comes with the turn. You know why? Because people, aboriginals or originators of a certain scene, eventually when they get like adulation and love for what they do and then life starts to get better because resources start to flow in, their life get easier, less stress happening, they feel loved and appreciated. And sometimes that can blindsight you to the bigger picture of the nefarious actors who come into canali, cabana, was it is it canonize or cannibalize the culture?
Cannibalize.
Yeah. So the originators need to be the gatekeepers. Don't let the bankers and the financiers or the hedge
Mm-hmm.
fund bros, you know what I'm saying, be the gatekeepers. Because then they get control of it. And then the people who originated, when they say, hey, I want to play the big festival, I want to play the big club, they're like, no, 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 stay where you was at, stay
Yeah.
wherever you came from. We built our own constructs. You know what I'm saying? You're not meant for this. And I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like now we need to start vetting who we allow into those spaces. Everybody keep talking about safe spaces, but I call bull. Like you had these safe spaces for the last 7 years, and you've been letting the wrong people in. Because you know why I can say that? And people could talk, they shit had a difference. We like to say that because people are still complaining. How you have all these safe spaces and everybody's still complaining? If you're still complaining, that
Yeah.
means you've been letting some of the wrong people in your space, and it's time
Yeah.
you motherfucking clean house.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this party last Saturday dance in New York City that like my crew in Pittsburgh have kind of like used as a model for our party PS. And recently they've gotten like big enough that like um yeah, now they used to be like very open to any newcomer. We give them a little culture spiel at the door.
Yeah,
But recently they've had to like change it to like you have to be invited by somebody else and like something like that. Just 'cause like when something gets big enough, like there are like bad people who will come like inevitably, I think.
yeah. That's why I have that little kitschy like side brand members only. That's basically it's based on. It's based on
Mm-hmm.
you basically have your own social club and vet the people you allow into your space. That's the only way you can do it. Like newsletter, membership, people pay their dues. You know what I'm saying? In other words, everybody's becoming their own fraternal order. Everybody's becoming their own Illuminati. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just got to do your own thing and make sure the people you bring in they really about supporting that cause of that culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that way, when you're like a membership and you pay your money, you're not worried about the hedge fund bros or the corporate entities that coming in to like bastardize your culture because the community, you're self-supporting it. That
Yeah.
way, you're not so reliant on the next big club in your city. And then because nobody's not buying $20 drinks and $400 bottle service, and then the club closes down. Everybody's now all heartbroken. Oh, our scene is dying because this $1 million club is not booking artists anymore, and yada. They really weren't doing nothing for your community anyway because it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
these private membership clubs, it's really community orientated and connected. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You as
Yeah.
artists may not make that much money, but the few membership places I've been involved with, they do pay respectable fees. They can pay what they can when they can how they can when it's allowable. You know what I'm saying? So
You mean like fees to artists?
yeah, yeah, feeds the artists.
Yeah.
Like I know some people who generally will take their hard-earned money, even with their private membership establishment, and they will budget it. They're working out. Okay, these 2 months we'll have local artists, filmmakers, sound designers come do some stuff. The
Uh-huh.
community and people part of the members only club will come in to partake in that. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And then maybe say, oh, in 3 months, we'll come up with enough funds from the memberships and all those stuff we've done to bring in Moody Man for one night or whoever, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Or Carl Craig or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, or Ron Trent. You see what I'm saying? And that's what makes it special when you can bring that one big name act in for that
Mm-hmm.
3 months because it's like, oh, wow, we got like this learning experience. You know what I'm saying? That really like, okay,
Yeah.
this is what the culture's about. But if you
Yeah.
if you have a club that's $1 million club and you bring all the big names every weekend, people get spoiled. Then it gets to
Yeah, I know. They get fucking tired of it or
yeah,
like
and everybody
bored.
becomes a critic. They're like, oh, whatever, they're not so great, and all this other crazy stuff.
Yeah, you gotta make it special.
Got to make it
Yeah.
special. Yeah, that's the problem. We got spoiled now because, well, not everybody. There's certain places around the world, or especially in America, they're not spoiled like that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be wild to see a place like Kansas City start
Mm.
rocking. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
I'm trying to get Pittsburgh to pop off.
well, so there you go. You just got to do your thing. Yeah. So
Well, okay, speaking of Moody Man and these big names, because like one thing I've kind of like learned from booking and promoting is like I really love like my favorite part of booking is not the headliner, it's the opener and being like, who is everybody sleeping on? And who is like, yeah, who's which emerging artist sound matches that of like a techer or like, yeah.
Yeah, that
Um,
comes down to a person who really understands the culture and is good at music curation.
yeah. So like yeah, I'm asking you to name names. Who are
As far
the
as who I know that does that,
No, who are the emerging artists that everyone's sleeping on?
who Sweater on Polo.
Sweater and Polo. From where?
As far as I know, he's out in New York. I
Mm-hmm.
met the brother in Germany for somebody's party, and I seen him with his gear, plug in, set up, do his sound check, and enjoy. Some people get in the mood. Even if there was technical difficulties, he was still a good sport because it was the love of it, and he was doing it because he knew this was part of his purpose, his
Yeah.
intention.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when I heard him, I felt like I was back in the 80s. Like he had a straight up like genuine 80s vibe and feel to what he was doing. So
Mm-hmm.
Sweater Polo. I mean, I
Yeah.
see his name floating here and there, but I see a lot of names floating here and there. But then when I actually finally see the person, I was like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
dissing other artists, but for me personally, my perspective, when I seen him, I get it. I respect it. I appreciate it. It's like, okay, he's younger than me. And I felt like, okay, 10 years from now, remember I said things go ebb and flow. So 10 years from now, we stick with what he's doing, he could be on top of the food chain. He could change
Mm-hmm.
the paradigm shift when it comes to the culture. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah. And you want someone like that at the top.
yeah, you want
Yeah.
something one like that. And the thing is, I want to see people like him be the beat makers for pop stars. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see him do stuff for like famous people, and then that would help the culture grow in a certain way that the culture vultures can't canonize or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the word is. Yeah, yeah, bastardize.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see people like that because everybody's like, oh, gotta keep it deep, gotta keep it underground. It's like, yeah, it keeps it broke and it keeps the culture getting abused.
Yeah, no, I think there is like kind of like a toxic, like starving artist romanticism. And like, people here we talk about like the scene here in Pittsburgh is like very small. And
Yeah,
it's kind of like the door splits just kind of circulate from like, oh, like my friend Tree is playing this show, so I throw in like $10 and then I play a show and then they throw in $10 to me and it just kind of like circulates. But meanwhile, we're all still having to pay rent every month and
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
it's still a net negative. And so I'm like the solution to this problem is not like, oh, let's charge 15 instead of 10. It's like, no, let's get institutions to give us grants.
yeah. In
Yeah.
other words, underground motherfuckers need to start doing business and handling business and learning
Hmm.
business if they really want to survive. So that way they don't have to like freak out when funding gets cut or this rich daddy doesn't support the scene no more or whatever. You be
Yeah.
self-sufficient, self-contained.
Yeah.
Learn real estate so you can buy the building. That way you can have artists that come live there. You can have like artists come
Hmm.
work there,
Hmm.
do a functions and events there, and you're self-contained. Especially if it's in a community that needs that, the support community will support you.
Yep.
You don't have to be downtown or in a hip neighborhood, because as you know, as well as you know, that artists make the neighborhood hip. So you could
Yeah.
take a downtrodden neighborhood and make it hip. The thing is,
Hmm.
buy the property so that way the bankers don't come in because it becomes hot and trendy and take over. They can't move
Hmm.
in if you own the land.
Yeah, you gotta put a stake in the ground.
Yeah, put a stake
Yeah.
in the ground. So you got to
Yeah.
start moving different.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
like when these artists, I tell all these new artists coming up, aim high. Don't get caught in that construct. Oh,
Yep.
my ish ain't black. If I do this, then I ain't black enough. If I ain't do this, I'm not queer enough. If I don't do this,
Hmm.
I'm not fem enough. Because you got to break those constructs and get to the top of the food chain. And like I said, it's a war. It's a battle for resources. So if you're really about for what you down with, get that money, come back to the community, and do the underground stuff because now you can control and help the people out in the hood. So
Yep.
I've seen people make tons of money and then go invest with other millionaires in fancy places. But then love to do interviews about, yeah, when I was in the streets and the hood and doing this, but you ain't been
Hmm.
back there to put a club in that hood or a
Hmm.
recording studio. or like arts
Yep.
facility place. Yeah, you got a club in the
Yeah,
Ibiza now.
people, they change. Money changes people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I just opened up a spot in Morocco, even though I'm from motherfucking Florida. You know, so I'm like, what the fuck? Maybe Tallahassee needs some motherfucking, some structure, some culture. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people in Pittsburgh move out once they get big enough to like LA, New York City, which is kind of a shame. Yeah. Because I'm like, I see there's so much potential here. There's so many abandoned buildings, unused real estate, and like, yeah.
Oh, trust me, in about 10 years, Pittsburgh will be the new New York. It happens.
Yep,
Like, because it's
for sure.
business. Hedge fund, like investment bankers and, whatever, people that got money, that's what they do. Eventually, one place is burnt out. I hate to say it, it's like a parasite. So a place
Mm-hmm.
that be hot now, but believe 10, 20 years from now, it's going to be the shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Time to buy.
Hmm.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh, we have Carnegie Mellon University, which is what I moved here for grad school. And like I applied there because of this space called the Studio for Creative Inquiry that does a lot of like interdisciplinary, like really dope shit, like with like art and technology. Um, I think right now they're having like a demo scene convention or conference on like oscilloscopes and all this cool shit. And like they gave me like $2,000 to throw this event at Tech 25 on like a video artist conclave. Um, that was so nice because I didn't have to pay the venue fee. It was just covered, or like I didn't have to worry about people coming to the event. So then
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about appealing to the masses. I just had to be like, this is an event by artists for the other artists. We're performing for the other artists who are like us. We don't have to like cater to the wills and whims of like some random person who's not a part of the culture.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it helps so much, like gets rid of so much like financial stress, being like, oh, the bottom line is covered.
Well,
Yeah.
all I could tell you is everybody needs put it this way, art has evolved. If you're talking about eras, art has evolved to the point now that electronic music or like stuff that's involved in electronic culture has evolved to the point you could go to higher institutions of learning or like higher institutions of like artistry and get funding now. So it's not out of the realm to go to them and say, I have this concept, which I was talking to you about earlier. Like you go to like, Adler Planetarium or Field Museum or like some
Hmm.
place that would be too fancy that people think they couldn't be in. But a person like you and other people of a certain knowledge scope or level would know how to properly translate it on paper to make it work. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
me,
You
I
got to
could
code
go to some,
switch.
yeah. So I could go to someone, they'll look at me because the way I look, I have one of those pseudo Ivy League degrees. I mean, it's whatever, but because I still got that certain dynamic in me, I don't want to code switch.
Hmm.
It is who I am. But somebody else can do this, bring the same presentation I can, but on paper, you know
Yep.
what I'm saying? It looks legal, it looks legit, it is like on point, everything. And they can see him like, oh, we'll do that. Even though it's the same shit I said, but
Hmm.
on paper, and you're dealing with certain type of people and trying to get certain type of money, and you want to be in a $80 million facility, you can't do what the fuck I'm doing. No, no, no. It's just not gonna fly. And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, there's a big thing now. People are really trying to get funding for what they do, and they don't want to be reliant on mega clubs or individual financiers who tired of putting their money into something and not get anything in return, or they
Hmm.
just tired using it as a tax write-off, then
Hmm.
learn about how to be a grant writer. There's funds out there.
Yeah.
It might be quote unquote government cutting, in this administration. Usually, even though there's a lot of programs being cut, the weird, dark, good side of it is a lot of rich people now have money to write off. So there's actually rich people now have more money than ever. They can donate to causes instead of relying on the government for a grant. You can go to a rich person that has a foundation because all their money is getting thrown into that non-for-profit foundation. or whatever they do, and you can apply and get money from them because it's a write-off for them. I mean, literally,
Mm-hmm.
so they can zero taxes for them, as long as they
Yep.
donate and invest.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So I just feel
Mm-hmm.
in every piece, everything looks like darkness, there's light. You just have to just slow down a bit, meditate, reconfigure, and adjust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what you do when you're truly trying to hustle or grind. You don't get angry, you adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I went to this panel at Wood Street Galleries. There's like a Fourth River panel. They've been doing like really cool like mentorship for the local artists. And Aaron Clark, who's like a part of Honcho Pittsburgh, my friend V asked him like, what does the scene in Pittsburgh like need to grow? And he said there's like this mayor appointed nightlife liaison, who is supposed to help us. But yeah, I think they mainly focus on bar fights in the South Side, is what Aaron said. Um, and so like yeah, it is cool that there are pos roles in government that are like now kind of like appointed for it, but they're still not focusing like on the important things, I think. Um, yeah.
Yeah. People in government or like high positions of power, depending on how they grew up and how what part of walk of life they come from, their perspective of what things need to be handled is different from yours.
Yeah.
So it's you can't fault them for it. It's just their perspective. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, in my mind, might be how Chicago was in the early '80s when it comes to how they approach nightlife. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Chicago's at a point now. It's how New York was in say the '90s. You see what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
from place to place. Now,
Mm-hmm.
however, New York culture is how New York culture is. I mean, right now, I think New York kind of caught up to Berlin culture. You see what I'm saying? It's like equal. It's equally yoked. So
Yeah.
it's like, you got places in New York that can be open till 6 or do 24 hours. It's like
Yeah.
it's a slow evolution. So, but it's
So
people.
like,
Oh,
oh,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You go ahead. You
Okay,
go.
well, speaking of Berlin, like, cause I've been like, oh, maybe I have to move to Europe to have a salary as an artist, or like my friend in Canada gets like pretty good grants. It's like way harder in the US to get like government funding for the arts.
Mm,
Do you think like an artist has to like move to
no,
get
it's not.
funding?
It's not. I understand what you're saying. For it's all things can be true, but you got
Mm-hmm.
to understand why one person's truth is another person's misgivings or failure or construed as a lie. You see what I'm saying? And it's
Mm-hmm.
because it's missing knowledge. There's missing links in between the connection to make certain things happen for some, for others, or everything happens to everybody else. And
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, it's about really who the fuck you know. So you have to connect with grant writers who's actually have um, who has pedigree that actually has dinner with government officials, with
Yeah,
councilmen, and
they're on the inside.
they're on the inside.
Yeah.
So like when you need a grant for something and you connect with them and you tell them they're trying to do, they're like, oh yeah, yeah, well, I got that sorted. And they could help you out with the grant. And they say, they're having dinner at that person's house from that foundation the next following week. And that person, if they had
Mm-hmm.
a little dinner and whatever they do, they'd be like, oh yeah, so what you got on the table? Look, well, I got a couple of projects coming up. I'll send you a memo, you know what I'm saying, next week, and then that's how it works. It's table talk. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they have the golf course, darling. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have the country club. That's the time
Dude, my mom growing up was like, you got to learn golf so you can find a sugar daddy.
or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? Like when you people have those what they call the meet conferences you got to go to. There's somebody there that's got investment money. There's somebody just say, hey, I want to donate money to a good cause, but I don't know nobody. And the thing
Mm,
is, the people that do know, they're like, oh, you got some money to trick off? Well, I want to go ahead and buy this nightclub. I want to go buy this whole block of apartments and kick everybody out and make it high rise condominiums. So the
mm-hmm.
whole thing is though, do not chase away what you consider the boogeyman or the evil man. Like that
Yeah.
person only that way is because they may have evil people around them that you may perceive that they make them do evil things. But in their mind, in their reality, it's not evil. It's just business. And if it's a group of people around you saying the same thing, you might not see it as wrong because everybody in that group is, yes, 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 this is the way. You see what I'm saying? And then the opposition comes along and say, no, 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 this is not the way. This is wrong. You think all those people that's around influence of power is going to agree with the person that says, no, this is wrong? They're going to keep their money safe and their resources safe so people don't come along and take away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, the
Mm-hmm.
hustle of the war is real. Don't be scared to talk to a person that's wearing the fancy suits. Have a
It's funny
conversation.
because like
Huh?
I'm not afraid of them. I want to like
None of that now. No, 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 no. No, no.
I hate a cop. I hate someone in power. Like,
Listen, and guess what? And because of that construct and way of thinking, from their perspective, they know that, and that's why they're on their stance.
yeah,
And
no,
they
you gotta
believe
connect.
you got to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
I've been in this way because of this culture. I've been in places and the way I grew up, I never thought I would be. I literally stood next to billionaires and like Ministry of Finance people from different countries and places where I had to be background checked and vetted heavily to be in the facility. Okay. Like
Yep.
I'm sitting with people. I sat next to a dude and I didn't even know he invested $2 million in his art project. I'm in Switzerland. These bankers, these bankers deal with so much money and are so busy. They've actually put money together and built an artist commune. The shit was like $50 million, and they built this shit. Like artists would come in, dormitories, cafeteria, like outdoor areas, all types of stuff to do their art or whatever, right? So they had
Hmm.
opening for it. And I'm sitting there, we walk in this room, and it's like all this basically 1980s ASCII or DOS text green screen throughout the
Hmm.
place. And it was like little video tables, it looked like old school video game. It was like that stuff. And I'm sitting there, I was like, how much it cost to do this? And the dude who invested it was standing right there. I didn't even know it. And the artist other side of me, I didn't know it because I'm just a fish out of water. And I was
Hmm.
telling other artists, I was like, how much could they say? It heard it was $2 million. I said, for this bullshit? I was like, I could have did this shit in Oski. You could have gave me $100,000. I'd have been straight.
Hmm.
Shit, you could have gave me 50,000. I
Hmm.
was like, all it is just a bunch of digital code going up the screen, and it's supposed to be art. And it was funny because the dude who actually invested the money in it started laughing because he was thinking the same thing because
Yeah.
who him to get the money to do this? He thought it was going to be some Van Gogh type shit. You know what I'm saying? Some Basquiat,
Hmm.
whatever.
Well, I'm like everyone's skimming a little off at each little bit.
I mean, it's whatever, but the fact that I didn't have a filter because I got self-control Tourette's, that I said this, the investor who invested in and gave the money for it started cracking up. The artist was salty as hell at me and started
Yeah.
in French cursing me the fuck out or whoever, whatever the hell he was speaking. And everybody else was cracking up like, yeah, you're right. I was like, dude, this don't make any sense, you know? So
Hmm.
yeah. Now it would have been dope if they would have did it in like those old school 80s neon signs,
Hmm.
the whole place set up like that,
Yeah.
oh, running through it. Like, put some work into it. Like,
I'm trying to learn how to make neon signs because I want to make one for hot mass.
okay.
That says no talking on the dance floor. Just because I feel like that's like
Oh,
the biggest problem with like the younger generation who's coming to the club today is like I think because of the pandemic they didn't really like learn they were not properly like inducted into club culture and there's a lot of like talking on the dance floor which like
man.
I'm thinking about putting a sign that says non-verbal room because I think
No,
that will
no, you know what'd
communicate
be
it
dope?
properly.
You know what'd be cool? Remember we was talking about romper room? Like there should be like a club like romper room style, and like how you just said, like no talking or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm to be in the club, and in the walls there's letters. So if you there and the AI senses actual conversation at the music, it just lights up and say, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, it puts a
Yeah,
spotlight on you.
yeah. And if you stay in the spot too long, start moving. You're not dancing. Get the fuck off.
Wait, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, but it's all AI that can just sense motion and sound because that's
Okay.
supposed to be in the that certain space. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Okay, I'll make it.
yeah. See, if I had $2 million, that would be a cool art project,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
just fucking Hosky just run up a a black screen with green
Yeah,
letters.
like the Matrix.
Yeah, like what is that? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And I've been in other places too. I felt very interesting. I was just like, okay. And I was like, and I realized I can't be mad at the people who invested money in this. Is because it was the people that was in their inner circle or in proximity. They was on the hustle and they made it work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So all you artists out there, you better start getting on these boards at MoMA and museums and art museums, science museums. You need to get engaged. You,
Mm-hmm.
if you're part of the city, you pay taxes. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like one thing I've learned many times, like many lessons learned, sometimes the hard way, is like change often has to come with compromise. Um, because otherwise you're just like yelling at each other and nothing happens.
Yeah, we gotta. I feel like whatever's been happening for the last, however you look at it, the last 3,000 years or 30 years, it ain't been working. It's time to let the egos and the pride and whatever else go and actually start working together as humans to make it better for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's almost like Cass is like, I don't want the world to change. I don't care. I want it to be the same as I grew up, even beyond when I'm even in the grave. I want it to stay the same. I actually
Mm-hmm.
ran into a guy on a train and I was coming from the Impact Center. I was leaving New York to come back to Chicago, and the guy when I had a sleeper, and I was like, I signed up for dinner, and it was like 9 o'clock, and it was just like everybody had their seats and stuff, and I seen like an empty table, and it was a guy sitting there, and I was just like, oh, why ain't nobody sitting there? Like, nobody want to sit next to him, and I was like, why not? And I was like, we rather not say. I was like, I'll sit there. So when I
Yeah.
sat there, it was an older white dude. He had to been like in his late 70s or early 80s, big ass MAGA hat, just sitting there. And I just sat down next to him, introduced himself to me, and we had a cordial conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I was looking at that hat, but in my mind, I was just like, okay, he seemed like a nice dude, but why is
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But the liberal whites, they was sitting to the right of him and they was basically talking shit about his ass. You see what I'm saying? So it was just like I
Yeah.
seen that divide. I'm like, it shouldn't even be like that. You know what I'm saying? It was,
Yeah. I mean, I'm like everyone's a human being. Like
yeah,
they deserve a basic level of like decency and friendliness.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when I talked to him, he felt weird. So he explained to me why he was weird. I said, listen, we're all on this journey. You choose your path. I choose mine. And I'm not judging. I'm just trying
Mm-hmm.
to get this grilled chicken. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it ain't that serious.
No,
So
yeah, like okay, so my first interview I did, it was with Mark DeClive-Lowe, like jazz electronic musician, and because I was hating on Yeji, like the Korean like artist who yeah, basically she doesn't tour in Pittsburgh even though she like got her start in Pittsburgh and I'm salty about that because I love her and then
yeah,
she doesn't come and then I hate her. But then he was like, like everyone's on their own journey, their own like I don't know, self-actualization journey and like you just gotta like not judge because and trust that they're like doing what's best for them and like
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And so the guy, he started talking. I said, let me hear him out. Let him get it out. You know what I'm saying? So we
Mm-hmm.
could just have a nice dinner, say our blessings and our prayers before we eat. And he broke it down to me. He just said, well, there's certain things I don't like that's happening in this country. And he was just straight up saying, I don't want to leave this planet and have my grandkids live in a world that's messed up like this. So whatever perception it is for him, that's his perception. But I've
Mm-hmm.
been indoctrinated a certain way. All I see is an 80-year-old white man. I'm looking like, oh, he grew up in the 50s and 60s, but they were calling my people the N-word and throwing rocks and trying to stop them from going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have went there and asked him, I said, is that the world you're talking about or some other stuff? But I let him say his piece. I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole because the food came to the table. By that time, I'm like, I'm not gonna
Grilled
ruin
chicken.
dinner for whatever he on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was weird because the liberals that was sitting across from us, they was in shock the fact that I was actually having dialogue and we were talking to each other like human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't subscribe to left, right, up, down, you know what I'm saying, sideways or whatever, because it's all constructs to keep us separated. And it
Mm-hmm.
keeps the cycle of BS going forever and ever and ever. So, I put
Mm-hmm.
it this way, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Yeah.
And I think there are way far fewer assholes than people think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, okay. We'll go till 5 or 4 your time. Um, but
Okay.
switching gears,
Okay. Let's
my
see.
friend Dom
Oh,
Misja
you
wanted
got
to ask
questions?
you
You got questions from the people?
questions from the people. Like they're in
All
my
right.
notes.
Oh,
So
oh,
this project, the
yeah.
ARE project,
Yep.
Association for Research and Enlightenment Project,
Mm-hmm.
um, Sarathi Korwar and Shabaka.
Yep.
He says it's great, first of all. It reminds me a lot of Jeff Mills' Tomorrow Comes the Harvest project, the one that he talked about on his Lot Radio interview. Um, and he saw similarities between those two pieces in the ephemeral cross-discipline improv, and just wanted you to like speak about, I don't know, that project. Because
Oh,
that
yeah.
record came out in 2017, right?
It came out 2017, but it was actually recorded like 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of stuff I do that's ought to be recorded a year or 2 years beforehand before it actually gets released, because of
Mm-hmm.
whatever timing schedules, other projects come before that one. So that's how the music business goes. All thing I tell you about that
Mm-hmm.
project, when I was back and forth a lot from the UK, when I was dealing with a certain label, one day they was like, "Oh, hey, you want to go kick it and jam out with some people?" And I'm thinking like we're going to somebody's studio, or whatever, just kick it. I'm like, all right, I ain't got nothing to do, so we go, and it's on a boat in Canary Wharf, and I'm just kind of like, okay, and I go in, and there's like TV crews, sound engineers being set up, and there's like a whole record studio. It's called the Light Ship. You got to look it up, but it was like a whole
Mm-hmm.
record studio on the boat, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was just like, okay. And that's when I met Shabaka for the first time. And they had him like in this um this chamber, which is weird. So it was like no ventilation. He's playing the sax and everything. But he's a soldier. He's like in this contained compartment and he's just dripping with sweat as he's playing the sax.
No.
Because there's actually video, if you look up online, the actual concert is online. You can look at
Okay.
you can watch it. You can see him
Mm-hmm.
sweating everything on that boat. So they took sessions from that and put it on vinyl. Okay, so out there was playing. We was all cool condition. I'm in my little area, and I'm just making sounds, and everybody just improvising off on top of it. And it was a cool bonding experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate it. I learned a lot from connecting with them and just sharing those sonic energies. That's the best way I can put it. But I was really thrown for a loop when I started seeing the cameras. Then there was a studio engineer and all this stuff going on. I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good
Like
budget.
how's the process, the creative process of improving with other people?
I mean, it's kind of one of those things. If you do something for long enough, it's just like moving your hands or walking. And the
But
whole thing,
how do you like negotiate like space like in the overall sonic space, like being like,
oh,
okay, like I'm gonna take a step back or I'm gonna support you.
no, no, but that's the whole thing. Though, when you do it long enough,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like having a conversation. Like when you're
Yeah.
talking, I just make sure I don't overbear you. You see what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
like it's kind of like that type of dialogue. So it's like I'm in a room with these guys. We've been doing it for so long. It's just like they just know when to interject themselves in the conversation.
Yeah.
So I might
Yeah.
start off with a tone or a noise, and because Software is doing the rhythm section, he's done this for so long, he knows to start off a certain way. I'll bring some stuff in. Shabaka will be like, all right, I can catch, because I tell him, like, okay, you catch whatever notes that I'm experimenting with. You're the professional, you're the music theorist, so you know how to take it places that I don't even know that's there. That's
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing with Shabaka. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
trained professional, reputable in what he does. Like he can hear, this is me just being whatever, cheeky, but he can hear a rat hit the floor and all of a sudden he can play a whole sax composition just from that rat, just making that noise on the wall, you know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's just how he built, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he can hear the water outside the boat hitting the boat and he automatically just click and just make sounds, you know what I'm saying? They can gel with that.
Mm-hmm.
In Southway, first I know he's a trained percussionist, so he's been in different environments when it comes to jazz, R&B, pop, rock, whatever. So he's multi-trained and versed in whatever he do. So when you get around people that's knowledge in what they do, there is no
Hmm.
ignorance. Now, if
Hmm.
we're in a room full of people who's not highly trained in what they do, then it's going to be chaos
Yeah.
because you have fear, you have
Because
ego.
like, and then also at that point, you're not yet speaking with whatever instrument or gear you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to be comfortable in the sonic orgy. That's basically what it was. It was a sonic orgy, you know?
Sonic orgy on a boat.
Yeah, sonic orgy on the boat. I have lived. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then like okay, the other question from the people is from my friend Shane Kiernan Laveau. She wanted to ask about like uh the influence of industrial music like on your sound.
I mean, I'm from Chicago, so even though I don't know people really like corn that, but and I'm not saying industrial would not have had uh, um its popularity, but Chicago was definitely an economic powerhouse and structure that heavily supported the industrial sound because everybody knows it's basically industrial. If you want to go back to where industrial, a 0 point for me, from my perspective, is the Robin Gristle,
Mm-hmm.
Chris and Cozy, that. So like that, I mean, there was other stuff going on, but for us in Chicago, that was kind of like the introduction. But then there were other industrial artists who lived in Chicago. Even though there's black culture with house music, there was another culture when it came to industrial sound. So there was a lot of industrial
Yeah.
stuff going on in Chicago in the late 70s, early 80s. So there's a lot of people who came up, through those circles from different parts of the city that got into what they got into. Especially if
Mm-hmm.
you like went to music school or you went to art school, you know what I'm saying? So you have those pockets where people build community. You know what I'm saying? They go move in a warehouse, squat, they build it out, they start building up the area. People start moving in because they hear about this cheap rent. Their homies live there or the girl live there, so they got to be next to them. It's close to get to the school because of the train, and then stuff
Mm-hmm.
starts to grow. I think more people might coincide industrial with Belgium because of the new beat sound or whatever you want to call it, but definitely because of Wax Tracks, they worked out something with Belgium as far as how they did music went back and forth for distribution, and Chicago became an industrial hub. So a lot of industrial artists got signed to Wax Track. So it made it
What
like
is Wax Trax as a label?
it's a label.
Okay.
So your pockets might go broke if you look at Wax Track and start buying.
Dude, that's how it is with Submerge.
Yeah, huh?
That's how it is with me for Submerge.
Yeah, so if you go into the Wax Tracks hole, be careful. Just marinate on what you want to go into. But there's a lot of dope stuff there. But that influenced me
Hmm.
because I went to a couple of clubs that played industrial music. And then
Hmm.
because some of the music became more popular, a lot of stuff got infused into it as far as acid house or house music and Detroit techno. So it became a fusion. So and like but then when I started going like down a rabbit hole of industrial music, I was called this shit is dirty, nasty, and dark, and I love it because
Hmm.
I came up. I was a deep house head, so we was like on a deeper voyage of what considered would be house sounds or influenced by house sounds. So when you go off into Throbbing Gristle or Lazy on Dangerouses, or you go off into like the really abstract the weirdo, we call it the weirdo stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like you go off into
Hmm.
that, you find out about other stuff. And then we start hearing about these other groups and I can't even some of these groups I can't even pronounce. Or DAF, you know.
DAF.
Yeah, DAF is one. I can't go off my industrial brain right now, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there and I got influenced by that. So like I could go down that industrial rabbit hole, but this is best to say the world is not dark enough yet for me to really go there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it hits hard, it was consistent drive. It was just like
Hmm.
it wasn't always like don't get me wrong, but that Frankie Nelson's the whistle song. I'm not trying to walk around and imagine birds, dancing around being like I like that gritty, sort of hard driving. For me
Hmm.
personally, I just like the way it just hits on a system and in certain environments. So
Hmm.
yeah, it just like I said, and then too because I said I hooked up those cats with Edge of Looking Glass. they would rent they spot out to industrial bands to come rehearse and practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be in there, I would hear them, and I was like, oh wow, this is like cultural historical music making, historical music making happening right there at that moment. So I think I might
Mm-hmm.
see some really famous industrial acts. I just had no clue because I just kind of leave people to their devices. You know what I'm saying? And then they
Mm-hmm.
look scary. You know, they're like they look scary. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
dude like yo, like they look kind of crazy. So I enjoy what they, but I'm not gonna go walk up on them and be like, yo, what's going on? You know? So, but yeah, I got a bunch of industrial stuff still laying around I made years ago. I just haven't put it out yet. I don't know if I ever put it out.
How much
So
stuff do you have like unreleased? Like what percentage is released versus unreleased?
I got at least 3,000 tunes is not released.
How many you got released?
About 3,000.
Okay, 50-50.
50-50. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm making stuff when I feel like making stuff. There's unfinished sketches, and the unfinished sketches are not the unreleased or released stuff. It's just stuff I don't. It's just still stewing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I
It's
also, okay, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, or did you have something to say?
no. I was about to say when I do that, it's more therapy for me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't do it because I gotta make beats because I was like I just do it because it's therapy for me.
Yeah.
I'm a little ticky boom boom. This helps me. It
Mm-hmm.
helps me ease it helps ease, life. Let's put it that way. Yeah,
Yeah, the 10 dimensions that you're existing in simultaneously.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It narrows me
Yeah.
down to two instead of 10. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said eight before.
I was trying to hold back. It's more like 23, but yeah, we go. So what's the next question?
Next question was about, I want to ask you about the role of mentorship and like Adonis and like how important it is to like mentor up and coming people or like people that you see potential in and like the what impact that has on like the culture and the scene.
Well, all I can say is on that, I was blessed and fortunate enough for him to even take the time out to even bother, to even be bothered
Hmm.
with me because he didn't have to. He
How
got
old were you?
I was a grown ass man, you know what I'm saying? It ain't
Okay.
like I was a little ass kid.
Hmm.
I was at uni, you know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
got connected through someone else that he knew. She was just like, yeah, I know him. And I was like, no way. And then she put him on the phone. And somehow
Hmm.
we both kicked into the curve. And then we just became so
Hmm.
she just got kind of X'd out the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like, all right, yeah, 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 it was nice knowing you. You know what I'm saying? No, she cool people, but I'm just saying it was kind of one of those things when
Yeah, yeah,
I'm geeking out, and we start
uh-huh.
talking about music stuff. He geeking out, but she ain't really about that life. So we're just like, all right, have a good life. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Enjoy yourself. Yeah, yeah. Not see, you don't tell nobody kill yourself. Enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just keep it
Hmm.
moving. Yeah, enjoy yourself. Yeah, good luck. Yeah. So,
Yeah. It's a good euphemism.
yeah, yeah. So he no, we just started vibing and then we built a camaraderie, a rapport. And I want to learn a lot about what he went through. And he taught me a
Hmm.
lot of stuff. And then when I want to learn fully, I knew some stuff, but really want to learn that dynamic creativity. He threw a drum machine, a big bulky drum machine, he let me hold down. And I carried it everywhere with me. And he was because he had all this gear, and I was like, yo, I want to get on this and start. He's like, no, no, no. You're not about to fuck up my gear. It costs too much. And he was like, you can fuck with that. And I was like, what is that? I'm seeing all these keyboards and
Hmm.
effects and racks and stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, no, 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 no. That drum machine over there collecting dust. That's you. And I was like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm seeing all this other things. No. He was like, you figure out every form of beat, signature, swing, measure, blah, 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 fill up the drum machine and come back.
Hmm.
I would carry it around with me and I'd be in the park somewhere,
Hmm.
cat, ex-girlfriend's house. She hated I would come to her house because I was living on the street and I was just like, well, that's a whole other story. I was sometimes in between places, so I would just like come to her house and she'd be like, oh, we go get it on, daddy. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna plug in this drum machine real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I'm gonna get it on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be making beats for hours, and she used to get pissed off. Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I would, do the other, beating up, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So then I would go back to him and bring the drum machine, and I let him hear things. He's like, yeah, that's nice. And he'd just like erase all the patterns. It's okay. That's no, go away, come back
Mm-hmm.
again. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, and I'll go back, make some more shit. Same shit. So for a whole year, I walked around this drum machine just making beats and just making more beats and 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 more beats. Yeah. And I don't even have none of those beats because he would always, because in his mind, he was like, okay, if you're really hot, you could go back and make the same shit you did before.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, see, that was a trick. He was training me. You know, it's just like in any
Mm-hmm.
profession, you keep doing the same thing over and over again until it's like second nature to you. You don't even stress about it. You don't have no fear, no worry, or whatever. It just comes natural to you.
Yep.
So that's where I learned to start making stuff at a fast pace and so quick, and especially do stuff live on the fly. For me, walking around with that drum machine for a year because it's all I did. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just yeah, this is all I did. So, and then with uni, it was just like it was a therapy thing because I had a lot going on in my life. It helped me just like block out a lot of stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then over time, then we got to the other stuff. And then we did some recordings of stuff which will never come out. I don't even know if you know what he did with those DAT tapes. There's like some bunch of stuff I did with him that's on DAT tapes that I messed around with. Um, and then over some more time, we was trying to get some stuff going. And everywhere I went was just like everybody was just like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, tell me fucking no. In my mind, I'm like, because I be thinking like 8 different ways. So when somebody say no, I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna do this shit. And another part of me is like, man, that hurt my feelings. And I start crying on the inside. Another part of me is like, I'm gonna find a way. There's a will, there's a way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And another part of me is like, I'm gonna get that motherfucker back. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? I got this shit on in my mind. I'm like, okay. And I said, let me focus and figure out which one of these things will actually work. And I just said, let me just keep doing what I'm doing. And I was like, that's when I just started making cassette tapes and just started going around some in my backpack because
Mm-hmm.
nobody would give me a deal. In my mind, I was looking, however you look at it, I was looking for a hand up. Some people say a handout or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was about community. Let's do it. I see all these,
Yeah.
everybody clicked up, everybody's like whatever. But then all of a sudden, if you're not part of that clique, they ain't helping you. They love bragging to you about what them and their clique is doing. But when you try to come into the clique and say, hey, remember all that great stuff you're doing? And they're like, oh, no, 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 no. They're just like, good luck. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Have a good
Mm-hmm.
life.
Enjoy
You know?
yourself.
They don't say fuck off. You
Yeah.
can do it. Have a good life. Yeah. So that's what I was getting. So then people then I remember one time I walked to the Richie Hott and tried to hand him a tape. He was just like, and I was trying to get this like, well, why don't you just put it out yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? I was like, and then you know what? I didn't get mad. It hit
Mm-hmm.
200 releases later. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it as like I think everybody that told me motherfucking no, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who like everybody who pushed me away or whatever, I'm here. I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
I remember people used to make fun of me for having cassette tapes when everybody was all about the ADATs. You can't do any proper recordings without an ADATs. All it was a
Mm.
fancy fucking VCR with a bunch of little doodads on it. That's how I looked at it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you might want to research ADAT later. You might be able
It
to find one dirt cheap since everybody had one back in the day. Ain't shit now.
mm.
Yeah.
Is
So
it's tape, but like on
it's a
a
form of a tape,
VHS?
but it's more high end recording. I
Okay,
mean, to
yeah.
me, it looked like a fucking Betamax, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, with some doodads on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was then I when I finally got the CD, still I was getting the same runarounds. I just started pushing CDs, and then eventually, I looked in the back of a magazine. Me and the Dons were talking. He was like, "Okay, if they tell you no, find another way." That's what I learned from mentorship. Just
Mm-hmm.
don't give up. Just keep going,
Fine.
no matter
Yeah.
what. Yeah, find a
Yeah.
way. And I would report back to him about stuff that would happen. He was like, "Yeah, they don't." Well, I shouldn't be saying that. He would just say, "Find a better way." Yeah. So, and then I kept finding a way. And eventually, at one point, I would get a hold of dance music magazines. I would hang out in like Barnes and Nobles and stuff and just read magazines and books or whatever. And I was looking at the back of the dance music magazines, and it was giving away P&D deals, like left and right in Europe. And
What's
I
P
was
and D?
called press and distribution.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So I got a press and distribution deal in like '95. Like, and that's messed up. That in Chicago, I couldn't get shit popping, but then I called overseas and they gave me one off the bat. So I
Mm-hmm.
pressed like 2 records through that deal. And then by mid '96, going into 97, they was like, yeah, we don't want to do this house thing anymore. There's like an emergent sound. So we're scrapping everything and we're going to go into like two-step and garage music. I was like, the fuck is that bullshit? I had no fucking clue. I was like, what is that? I was like, can we at least get this other record out? I was like, no, we're done. It's a wrap. I was like, but so yeah. So there's actually vinyl of that floating around somewhere and nobody knows it's me. That's what's crazy. I seen a couple people on Discogs found Wonder releases and like it's actually going for like, I don't know, about $150 one of the releases, but there's like another two out there. They don't know it's me and it's floating around. I don't even have copies of it.
Mm,
Some homies in Chicago might have it somewhere in storage. My cousin had one of the records, but he can't even find it either. So, but all of a sudden
mm-hmm,
now I look on Discogs, people found one of the records, and I think it's like 20 people got it now. I'm like, how did they even find this shit? That was like from
mm-hmm,
fucking 30 years ago. Well, not 30. Yeah, about 29, 30 years ago. So
mm-hmm.
I guess because I mentioned in magazines before that people just, people are just straight up like, what's the word for it? They nerd out. They'd be like, okay, that's my quest. I'm gonna find this record somehow, some way. Yeah. And people have been finding it. All I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
is if you can find other two releases, good luck. Yeah. And
They're
then from
sending people
there,
on a scavenger hunt.
yeah, basically, yeah. And then
Mm-hmm,
from there, I kept doing cassette tapes and CDs or whatever on my backpack. And then I went overseas for a bit, and then I was in Germany for a little bit, and I was hustling tapes and CDs over there. And then when I came
mm-hmm.
back, the guys from a certain record store, see certain names I don't want to say or put out there because I don't put nobody on blast, but there was a certain
Yep.
record store that I was like in contact with, and I was like, oh yo, blah blah blah, what about this? They was like, oh, your record's coming out on vinyl. And I was like, no, it's not. It's still on cassette tape because I was calling anybody wanting some more tapes or CDs from me. And they were just like, oh, but here's the record. And I was like, I didn't approve that. I never talked to this label before. So it was
Mm-hmm.
a whole thing to actually threaten a really famous German artist's life.
Wait. I don't get it. Whose life got threatened?
I got very emotional, and it was a German artist, a very famous one at the time, who I got very angst with. And I basically threatened to beat his ass for taking my shit. I like really went off. And then he told me what happened. Well, he didn't tell me what happened. The office manager told me what happened. And then I was like, oh, now it all made sense, but I was still pissed off. I still wanted to beat his ass because I was just like, what the fuck? Because it was
Mm-hmm.
because I went for so long of being told, no, my stuff ain't shit. So now all of a sudden, oh, it's worth stealing and putting
Yeah.
out. So I got my field. I went through this whole 5 years of this journey of self sufficiency and taking pride in what I'm doing, then all of a sudden somebody steals your shit, it would set anybody off. Because you had these 5 years of people telling you your shit ain't shit. It
You
ain't
ain't
professional.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't shit. Your shit is lo-fi. That's why I had resentment a while back like when lo-fi house music was coming out and that was the thing. Because that's what everybody called my shit in the 90s. Even in the early 2000s. Nobody wanted to fuck with it because they was like it's low res, lo-fi, it's not professional, or whatever. So that happened with that, and we got through that situation, and then worked out some other stuff with them. And then eventually I just said, you know what, I'm gonna just start my label back up. And then my cousin came back into the picture around 2000 and put up some money. He was like, just give me my money back. And he put up the money, and I got these records pressed, and I got him his money back, and then some. He was maze balls. He was like, he didn't think the shit, like the recording was crappy. Like the tracks was recorded crappy, the artwork was crappy, but he was shocked I was able to get the money back and then some.
Uh-huh.
And the crazy part is there was still two boxes left, and I couldn't move them on nobody. So I didn't want to carry them back to my cribs. I dumped them in the garbage can. So now when I look online, that record's going for $80 a pop. So
Shit's hot.
anybody out there, don't throw your records away. Sit on them.
Mm-hmm.
I threw away 100 records. That was 8 G's they're worth right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Don't
Yeah.
get too
'Cause like
emotional
when you
about your
get big,
shit.
the early shit is good.
Yeah. I said, don't get too emotional about your shit. Don't be irrational. Be
Mm-hmm.
rational. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so we got a few minutes left.
Oh,
One
yeah.
thing
You talk about
that's
mentorship. I didn't get to that. Yeah. So Dallas
oh,
basically
okay.
told me he'll take me on this wing. And he just said, whatever advice or knowledge that I give you, all I ask you is to pass the blessing along. He said, mentor other people, help other people. this is how the culture will expand and grow. So that's when I had the mathematics thing, and I was actually mentoring a slew of people for a certain period of time, and then I put them out. But then it got draining because see, Adonis was dealing with me. He's mentored other people. That's for him to tell his story. But he
Hmm.
mentored me, and I was draining. So when I was doing my label and I was
Dude.
working with other
Yeah.
people, I was working with 15 different artists and mentoring them, and that just sucked the life out of me. So
Hmm.
I have it in me to a point now, but not so many people at once. Cause
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
was wild. So between 2004 to about 2014 on the label, there's been a lot of music till this day. I can honestly say nobody can fuck with. There's a lot of artists that was on that label between that time frame that was doing stuff that anybody who wished it, I can't even make music like that. I'm being honest. It made me
Hmm.
step my game up because I was giving so much advice and working with these artists on how they need to structure their stuff. I had to
Hmm.
fall back and listen to my stuff. I was like, damn, my shit sound like bullshit now compared to working with them so long. Their stuff is like leaps and bounds ahead of what the fuck up.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, the kids got it.
the kids got it. And
Yeah.
now I had to get it for myself. I had to fall back and then, focus on elevating what I had to do. Any more
Hmm.
questions? Did I get everything? Because
One last question.
yeah,
Huh?
I
You
go off
pulled
on
one what?
tangents. I go off on
They're
tangents.
great. They're
I
great.
will fruit loop the fuck out that shit. I will just go, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, one last question. Like one thing that's kind of become a tradition of these interviews is like usually someone shares a quote or they plug something or they share like a seminal piece of artwork, like whether it be like music, film, art, or like I don't know, like whatever that like was the gateway drug for them. Yeah, do you have a favorite quote or like piece of artwork that you loved or like oh, a plug?
What kind of plug?
Not that kind of plug.
You have to elaborate because certain words have many meanings. So you
Yeah.
have to set a parameter. Yeah. Which one? You want a quote or a favorite art piece
You
or
watch a lot of films though. Like what's your favorite film that's been like 'cause you said like sometimes you watch films to inspire you with like world building when it comes to then writing music.
I mean, to be honest, the one film that really set it off for me was TXH 1138.
Okay.
That really just set it off for me. And then like Logan's Run. I mean, what really did it in the very beginning when I was younger was books. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Ray Bradbury, a lot of what was the other guy? Philip K. Dick.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all from Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Represent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I got inspired by them, and then like some other people. So like it went from the books into I was like, oh, these books got turned into movies. When I got older and realized that, then I got sucked in to like Westworld. I got sucked into
Mm-hmm.
like Andromeda Strain. I got sucked into Altered States. I got sucked into Videodrome. You know what I'm saying? It was like little
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that that inspired me to like, oh, I like the way these sounds go. Like John Carpenter, a lot of films when I found out he did the scores to his other films, that inspired what I do as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
as far as an electronic aesthetic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna check them out. Have a little film festival.
Oh, I got a list for you. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotta put you on a letterboxd. Or the
I'm here
Plex
to
server.
learn.
Yeah.
I'm here to learn. Yeah. But you said a quote, right? I
Yeah.
just feel like for me, I want to be able to leave the world in a better place than I was born into it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to create and construct stuff that everybody can enjoy to make this place not just inhabitable, but enjoyable.
Yeah.
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 I think that's what every artist is inspired to do, even non-artists. Because there are people now, there's a new
Mm.
movement now. I'm a non-artist. I don't know if you know that. There's like non-artists now. It's like I'm not an artist. I just create. I don't be labeled as an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
Oh, see, there you go. Uh-huh. Yeah. You get now. Uh-huh.
Okay, well then we can conclude the interview.